Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast. Presented by Stephanie Williams and Greg Lewis.
Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. We're going to be talking about luxury fashion in the metaverse. You've seen the headlines, brands selling everything from virtual sneakers to digital dresses. But is it just hype, or is there really money to be made? We'll try to find out. We dug through reports from the brands themselves, along with analysis of both the successes and potential pitfalls of this brave new world. So to help us untangle this fascinating intersection of fashion, tech, and NFTs, we have our expert with us. So let's just jump right into it. Have you ever imagined paying thousands of dollars for a handbag that doesn't physically exist?
It sounds wild, right? But it's exactly what's happening. What's fascinating is that luxury brands aren't just chasing the latest fad. They're tapping into something much bigger. A new generation of consumers who spend their lives online and see virtual goods as just as valuable as physical ones.
It makes sense. I mean, kids today, they're growing up in a world where virtual worlds and online identities are completely normal.
Yeah.
I know our research pointed to some big names already making waves in this space. Gucci, Balenciaga, Nike,
right.
Each taking their own approach, right?
Absolutely. Gucci, for example, dipped their toes into the metaverse with the Gucci Garden on Roblox. It was a limited time event, but it caused a huge stir. People were going crazy for these virtual Gucci bags, even reselling them for more than the price of a real one.
Wow. Talk about digital scarcity. That's incredible.
Yep.
Seems like some brands are more invested than others. Take Nike, for example. They didn't just dip their toes in. They dove headfirst by acquiring RTFKT, a company that specializes in, wait for it, digital sneakers.
It's a power move for sure. Nike's not just experimenting, they're making a statement, and it seems to be paying off. They've reportedly made over $185 million from digital product sales already.
Okay, that's not just pocket change. That's serious money.
So for those of us still trying to wrap our heads around all of this, how does this even work? Are people really spending that much on virtual threads?
Well, it all comes down to the same principles of supply and demand, but in a digital context. Brands are creating limited edition digital items, sneakers, handbags, even entire outfits, and selling them as NFTs. And because they're scarce and often tied to, a well-known brand, people are willing to pay a premium for them. So it's like owning a piece of the brand, but digitally. That's an interesting concept. We also came across a story about The Fabricant, a digital-only fashion house, selling a dress for $9,500. I have to admit, that one had me scratching my head. Was that for real? Or some elaborate publicity stunt?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's not always easy to separate, the genuine excitement from clever marketing or even, dare I say, manipulation.
You hit the nail on the head. A lot of our sources point to some of the shadier sides of this world. It's essential to be aware of them. Take wash trading, for example.
Wash trading. Okay, that sounds a little fishy. Break it down for us. What exactly is that? So imagine someone wants to artificially inflate the price of their NFT. They create this illusion of a bustling marketplace, right? So they might buy their own NFT from themselves, and they do this using different digital wallets to make it look like there are all these multiple buyers driving up the price.
So it's like they're creating this fake buzz to trick people into thinking something is more valuable than it really is. That's pretty sneaky.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely something to be wary of. And then there's the dreaded rug pull.
Okay, rug pull. That does not sound good. What's that all about?
Okay, so imagine this. A new NFT project bursts onto the scene, generating tons of hype. People get excited, they start investing. Then suddenly, poof, the creators disappear. They take everyone's money with them, leaving investors with, worthless NFTs.
Ouch. That sounds like a nightmare. So with all of these potential pitfalls, how can you tell the real deal from a digital dud?
That's where, critical thinking comes in. Don't get caught up in the hype. Do your research.
Easier said than done sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Especially when, everything is moving so fast. What should people be looking for?
First and foremost, look beyond the flashy marketing and ask yourself, does this project have a real purpose? Is there genuine value being offered, or is it just about making a quick buck? And look at the team behind the project. Are they credible? Do they have a good track record?
So it's like investing in anything else. You don't just jump in blindly, you do your due diligence.
Exactly. And remember, even big name brands jumping on the NFT bandwagon doesn't guarantee success. Just because, a famous designer is behind it doesn't automatically make it a good investment.
Right. You brought up Nike earlier, and they've seen some success in this space. What are they doing that maybe others aren't? So it's not enough to just slap a famous logo on a digital file and call it a day, huh?
Right. There needs to be a real strategy behind it.
Yeah.
Going back to Nike, their success isn't just about their brand recognition. They understand their audience. They've embraced the culture surrounding digital collectibles, and they're creating a sense of community around their NFTs. It's not just about the product, it's about the experience.
That makes sense. So we've talked about the hype, the potential profits, and the importance of being cautious. But it seems like this goes even deeper than that, right? Like it's challenging our very idea of luxury.
Absolutely. I mean, think about what makes luxury goods desirable in the first place. Exclusivity, craftsmanship, and yes, scarcity. But what happens when you can replicate those qualities digitally? Suddenly, anyone can own a virtual Birkin bag or a pair of limited edition Jordans. Does that diminish the value of the real thing? It's a question that has luxury brands grappling with the future of their industry.
It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? On one hand, you have the potential to democratize luxury, making it accessible to a wider audience. But then there's the question of what happens to the allure of exclusivity. If everyone can own a piece of the digital pie, does it cease to be special?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's not just about handbags and sneakers. This is forcing us to rethink ownership itself in the digital age. What does it mean to own something in a virtual world? How do we assign value to digital assets? These are all questions we're going to be grappling with as the lines between the real and the virtual continue to blur.
It's definitely a lot to wrap our heads around. So to sum it all up, the world of luxury fashion and NFTs is full of exciting possibilities, but also, some potential dangers. It's a space that requires both enthusiasm and a healthy dose of skepticism.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's an industry in its infancy, and it's evolving rapidly. It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Absolutely. A huge thank you to you, our expert, for guiding us through this complex landscape, and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this deep dive into the future of fashion. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and remember, the only thing more fascinating than the metaverse is the real world we're building it in.
Beyond the Hype, a fashion lifestyle tech podcast.